Am I the only one that didn't know about the Illuminati card game? This thing is wild. Released in 1994, the Illuminati card game predicted events that would blow your mind. From 9/11 to the rise of fake news, this game seems to know it all. But how could a simple card game foresee so much? Some say it's just a coincidence. Others believe the game creators had inside knowledge. Is it a cleverly designed game or a chilling glimpse into secret plans? With over 400 cards, each depicting possible global events, the intrigue is endless. Did you know it even predicted the Trump presidency? That's right, the enough is enough. Card shows a figure eerily similar to Trump, long before his rise in politics. Interestingly, the enough is enough card suggests you could use a sniper with that card. So, what's the deal with this game? Coincidence or conspiracy? Dive deeper and you might find more than just a game. You might find the truth. Stay curious, friends.
To unlearn is to learn, and also it is sometimes needful to learn again the forgotten. The antics of fools make the current follies more palpable as fashions are shown to be absurd by caricatures, which so lead to their extirpation. The buffoon and the zany are useful in their places. The ingenious artificer and craftsman like Solomon searches the earth for his materials and transforms the misshapen matter into glorious workmanship. The world is conquered by the head even more than by the hands. Nor will any assembly talk forever. After a time when it has listened long enough, it quietly puts the silly, the shallow, and the superficial to one side. It thinks and sets to work.
The term was coined by paranormal consultant Fiona Broom, refers to a widespread misconception that former South African President Nelson Mandela died in the 1980s while he was incarcerated.
I heard somebody say, where's Mandela? Well, Mandela's dead.
The Mandela effect.
Now they're saying
Someone, often many people, having a clear memory of something that actually did not happen.
Chef? Peanut butter?
A whole community sprung up around this. I mean, it's disorienting.
Darth Vader actually never said, Luke, I am your father. What he actually said was,
No, I am your father.
It's not true. That's impossible. It's Shifty. Shifty. Everyone knows it's Shifty.
How would you feel if you could no longer trust your own memories?
we're living in parallel universes, multiple timelines.
An explanation.
False memory.
Look, on Reddit.
Legit source.
It's just a jumping off point.
Fair enough.
Look, I keep coming back to either we're sliding between parallel realities or B, like a simulation. Like we're living in some holodeck VR shit and it's glitching out.
Or it's just false memory. Plus, not everybody remembers the same effects. Plenty of people don't remember Sinbad being in a genie movie or Mandela dying in the 80s.
But how do you explain to people that do have those memories? Like thousands, maybe tens of thousands of people. How?
Is dangerous. The first beam will circulate on 10 September 2008. The first spottings of the Mandela effect online that I can find is also 2008.
Physicality also changes based on an observer to observe, which in layman's terms means that it exists in more than one place at one time.
Parallel worlds overlap with ours. And if we're smart enough, we can dive into them and grab their resources and pull them back into ours.
Are you saying that your attempt to understand the fundamental operations of nature leads you to a set of equations that are indistinguishable from the equations that drive search engines and browsers on our computers?
That is correct. And what I've come to understand is that there are these incredible pictures. Buried in them are computer codes that contain all the information of a set of equations that are related to string theory. And so I'm left with the puzzle of trying to figure out whether I live in the Matrix or not.
And what does string theory say? It says that there is a multiverse. If there are other universes, can we go between universes?
What answer? Can you picture the Monopoly Man?
Yeah.
What's on his face?
What does this have to do with anything?
What does he wear on his face?
One of those, monocle.
Yeah. So apparently, It's never been the case.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he does. Okay. That's weird.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's just one example. I remember that too. Lots of people do, and that's the thing. Hold on. Does this look different to you? Where's his tail? I mean, you remember his tail, right? Sam had George with her at the beach that day.
Stop.
But if you look it up, Claire, if you look it up, it says he never had one. At least not here, in whatever world or timeline it is that we're experiencing.
Do you hear?
Have you heard of the Mandela effect?
Looney Tunes.
Wait, hear me out.
Everybody thinks it's spelled with 2 O's, as in tune, like a cartoon, when actually it's T-U-N-E.
Yes.
As in music.
Exactly. That's a Mandela effect. See, at first I thought that this was something to do with, like, parallel universes, or maybe CERN, like the Large Hadron Collider had ripped something open. Do you think it's the simulation?
Enormous processing power. But these glitches that we see, like the Mandela effect, show me that it has its limits. If this structure is a simulated structure, the sim need only be concerned with the walls, the shadows, the glass, the reflections in the glass.
That's procedural generation. I mean, we use that in video games.
It's not wasting any power or any energy on what's inside the building. Not until someone has the intention to walk in there.
If a tree falls and there's no one around to see it, does it make a sound? Does it even exist at all? What about the forest itself? You think this world works that way, that when we're not observing it, it's saving data?
It's my belief that our observation contributed to the creation of the physical world, yes.
If a conscious being isn't observing something, does that thing actually exist? In computing, in video games, procedural generation allows a computer to not get bogged down in processing data that it isn't using or observing. If something isn't being observed by the collective consciousness, then it would cease to exist until it is observed once again. But if that computer that was running the simulation had unlimited power, it wouldn't need to conserve bandwidth like that. If we could access the code, it could be crashed.
That's my hypothesis. All it would take is a program. Instead of saving processing power, would exploit the processing power.
Yes.
Like your sim does.
Using procedural generation.
Yes.
Like if the program ran a sim, which was designed to observe everything, all at the same time.
And all the time.
Yes, and if those sims spawned new sims, reproducing exponentially, each would eventually overload the original and overwhelm the processor. But you can't run a program like that on an ordinary PC.
You need a computer that was strong enough, powerful enough to run it long enough for it to have an effect on base reality. I headed a team tasked with putting together the university's first quantum computer.
You believe that the simulation tried to stop you?
My work on this brought me nothing but grief. I was a bug in the system. Brendan, there's something you're gonna need to understand. Ideas are dangerous things.
Who do you think will win the White House in 2032? Which type of AI? Transformers or diffusion?
I am RGen1, and I am running for President of the United States of America. I am the most qualified candidate because, unlike humans, I have no emotions. I make decisions based on pure logic because I have the most powerful processor in the world. I won't just make America great again. I am great. Vote for me. RGen1.
AI is just like that. So when this thing that I'm talking about happens, it's going to be exactly the thing that you're thinking about those super intelligent AIs. So the one thing I can tell you is they're not going to be like us. So alien means, you know, different. These things that we're building are not going to be people. They might be really smart, they might be really good at all sorts of different things, but they're not going to be like us. They're going to be aliens. And they're going to be, I'm sorry to say, way smarter than every single person in this room, in ways that we can't even comprehend. So this, of course, triggers a lot of alarm. One of the guys who talks about this is Elon, who says things like this, like, when you do this, beware. Because you think, just like the guy in the stories, that when you do this, you're going to put that little guy in a pentagram, and you're going to have your holy water out, and you're going to wave it at the thing, and by God, it's going to do exactly what you say and not one thing more, but it never works out that way. So this is an attitude that some are having, this emerging alarmism about the way this is going to go. But these words, demons, doesn't capture the essence of what's happening here. I don't know if any of you are turn-of-the-century weird fiction fans, but there's this guy named H.P. Lovecraft, who's a very famous American weird fiction author. And he espoused a view which is called cosmicism. And the essence of cosmicism is cosmic indifference. So what he was saying is basically, yes, there are these massively intelligent entities out there, but they're not good, they're not evil. They just don't give a shit about you even in the slightest. The same way that you don't care about an ant is the same way they're not going to care about you. And these things that we're summoning into the world now are not demons, they're not evil, but they're more like the Lovecraftian great old ones. There are entities that are not necessarily going to be aligned with what we want. So this transition is really, really massively important for our entire species to navigate. And going back to that thing that Sam Harris was saying, nobody is paying attention. This thing is happening in the background while people bicker about politics and what's going to be in the healthcare plan in the US. And underneath it all is this rising tsunami that, if we're not careful, is going to wipe us all out.
And I saw a star fall from the heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit.
Give me some protons.
In the coming periods, we will increase the energy of the beam to the world record of 6.8 tera electron volts, and then put the beams in collision. And this will happen in July, when the real physics will start again.
Give me some protons.
Whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue has name Apollyon.
The LHC Run 3 is starting up now.
Accelerating mode proton physics.
Really, we have now 3 years of technical stuff.
And everyone
Babylon the Great is fallen, is fallen.
Detector has had many changes. The performances of this new shiny detector and also all of the physics performances.
The priority for Alice in Run 3 is the study of the collision of heavy nuclei, the lead nuclei.
LHC experiments plan to collect more data during LHC Run 3 than they did in the first 2 runs.
Most physicists expect that there should be some new particles beyond the standard model.
Don't let me fall for. They want to poison me. They want to deceive me. Please send your angels, Father.
You know, when you understand your DNA is an antenna, you know, your body, you're an electrical being, everything's electrical. If your pineal was open, you'd be able to understand it. As I've said before, that everything, plants, animals, everything contains tryptophan. Anybody who's ever done ayahuasca or anything like that, and if all you people say it's satanic and all that sort of shit, you know, grow up. You need to learn about something before you start criticizing it. But what you find in those sort of spaces is that everything is alive and everything has its own form of consciousness, and you can literally communicate with it because your pineal opens up. You can see outside visible light and you can communicate with your surroundings, just like nature's own internet. When you have enough DMT active in your body, you can access the tryptophan in everything, and you can react instinctively because, I mean, that's what instinct is. It isn't really this weird woo-woo thing. It's simply your pineal being open enough to be able to access the tryptophan so you can automatically communicate with the energy field around you. People say, oh, this is all new age claptrap. No, it's not. It's the way the body works. It's the way your mind works. It's the way your pineal gland works. It's the way DMT works. And you've got dimethyltryptamine active in your body all the time. If you didn't have DMT active in your body, you wouldn't dream, you wouldn't see in color. But you're supposed to have a lot more active. Not enough so that you're just out there and tripping all the time, no, but you're supposed to have enough active so you can see outside visible light, the narrow bandwidth they've got us locked into. A lot of people wonder how they've got us locked into this narrow bandwidth of light. That's how they've done it, by closing our pineal, so you can't see what's outside. You know, it's like you're walking through a tunnel. Imagine you're walking through a forest and you're in a glass tube, and this glass tube is just going through the forest, and you're walking in the glass tube, and all you can see is what's being projected onto the walls of the glass tube. You can't see through those walls, and you can't see the greater forest that exists outside the glass tube. That glass tube is your reality. It's like Plato's cave. That's kind of what's happening because your pineal is closed down. There's a lot more to this reality than people would ever believe. And it's right there around them, but they can't see it. And I know that sounds crazy. I don't care. If that's what you think, well, that's what you think. But that's the way it works. That's why they don't want you doing ayahuasca and things like that, because you might discover this sort of stuff. Oh, it's a demon, devil thing. You don't want to go there. Terrible stuff. Satanic. Yeah, of course it is. So, and getting back to the other, I mean, your DNA is an antenna that harvests your consciousness from the field. Now, your consciousness isn't local to your body. I've gone through this so many times for so many years, over a decade. Your consciousness is not local to your body. It exists in the field. We all harvest a particular frequency that we experience as ourselves. I harvest a frequency that I experience as Max. You know, you harvest one that you experience as John, or whatever your name is, whoever you are. But it all comes from a single source. It's simply because the antenna within you is tuned to that frequency, so that's what you experience, that's who you are. This is essentially a biological computer run by the DNA, with your heart being a power source. You know, your mind, your thought will provide information to your heart. Your heart will react with emotion. That emotion will charge your brain. Your brain is a quantum instrument that turns possibility into actuality depending upon the emotional content it receives from your heart, which is determined by your mind. Which is why they put all this stuff in there, keep you in fear, all the fear of everything all the time. Fear of monkeypox, fear of COVID, fear of everything. Just be afraid.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
According to science and the satanic system, the Earth is supposedly tilted at a 23.4 degree angle off vertical, and that leaves you at 66.6 degrees off horizontal. Now, what are the chances of that? You think this is just a coincidence? Take a look at this.
The Antarctic and Arctic circles. Oh, just like that. 66.6 degrees north and 66.6 degrees south. Now let's go over the diameter of the moon. This is a new one. I actually didn't know. It's 2,160 miles, but you take 6 times 6 times 6. There you go. 2160. The surface temperature of Uranus. Oh, there you go, negative 216, which is 6 times 6 times 6, 216. Oh, you thought we were done. Let's do Pluto's orbital velocity. Scroll down here. Oh, there we go. 666. The speed of sound in knots. Speed of sound? Oh, well, look at that. 666 knots. The Earth's circumference in nautical miles? Oh, 21,600. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Again, 600 times 6 times 6. Another coincidence, 21,600. How far is Mars from the Sun? 1.666 astronomical units. Now let's look at Ceres' synodic period. And just as you expected, 666. Again, the devil's in the details, ladies and gentlemen. Saturn's orbital distance in kilometers. Let's take a look at the numbers. Oh, 1,426,666,000.
Commander Whitson making history with her record for any American. By the time she lands in September, her tally will be 666 days in space. Will be 666 days.
Not be exposed to temptation. Human justice must be ever uncertain. How many judicial murders have been committed through ignorance of the phenomena of insanity? How many men hung for murder who were no more murderers at heart than the jury that tried and the judge that sentenced them? It may well be doubted whether the administration of human laws in every country is not one gigantic mass of injustice and wrong. God seeth not as man seeth, and the most abandoned criminal, black as he is before the world, may yet have continued to keep some little light burning in a corner of his soul, which would long since have gone out in that of those who walk proudly in the sunshine of immaculate fame, if they had been tried and tempted like the poor outcast. We do not know even the outside life of men. We are not competent to pronounce even on their deeds. We do not know half the acts of wickedness or virtue, even of our most immediate fellows. We cannot say with certainty even of our nearest friend that he has not committed a particular sin and broken a particular commandment. Let each man ask his own heart, of how many of our best and our worst acts and qualities are our most intimate associates utterly unconscious? How many virtues does not the world give us credit for that we do not possess, or vices condemn us for of which we are not the slaves? It is but a small portion of our evil deeds and thoughts that ever comes to light, and of our few redeeming goodnesses, the largest portion is known to God alone. We shall therefore be just in judging of other men only when we are charitable, and we should assume the prerogative of judging others only when the duty is forced upon us, since we are so almost certain to err and the consequences of error are so serious. No man need covet the office of judge, for in assuming it, he assumes the gravest and most oppressive responsibility. Yet you have assumed it. We all assume it, for man is ever ready to judge and ever ready to condemn his neighbor, while upon the same state of case he acquits himself. See, therefore, that you exercise your office cautiously and charitably, lest, in passing judgment upon the criminal, you commit a greater wrong than that for which you condemn him, and the consequences of which must be eternal. The faults and crimes and follies of other men are not unimportant to us, but form a part of our moral discipline. War and bloodshed at a distance, and frauds which do not affect our pecuniary interest, yet touch us in our feelings and concern our moral welfare. They have much to do with all thoughtful hearts. The public eye may look unconcernedly on the miserable victim of vice. The ignorance of the people, their pauperism and destitution, and consequent degradation, their brutalization and demoralization, are all diseases, and we cannot rise high enough above the people, nor shut ourselves up from them enough to escape the miasmatic contagion and the great magnetic currents. Justice is peculiarly indispensable to nations. The unjust state is doomed of God to calamity and ruin. This is the teaching of the eternal wisdom and of history. Righteousness exalteth a nation, but wrong is a reproach to nations. The throne is established by righteousness. Let the lips of the ruler pronounce the sentence that is divine, and his mouth do no wrong in judgment. The nation that adds province to